Hey, what's up guys? It's Spencer and welcome back to my shop. If you guys saw my last video, I completed my Z50R and I've been kicking around the idea for a while on what I was going to do next, and I'm excited to say that I've actually got my next project lined up. So let's check it out and see what I get into. So this is my new, to me, 1981 Honda Motocompo, also known as the NCZ50. These things were only sold in Japan and they were meant to go in the back of a Honda City Turbo. It was like a little hatchback, kind of like what we see in America is like a hatchback Civic, really boxy and small. And it was meant so people could park in the outskirts of Tokyo, like in a parking deck or a parking lot, and then unload this thing from the back and ride it to wherever they went, where you could easily park a scooter but not park a car in the city. Unfortunately, they didn't really take off the way that Honda imagined, and so they only made them for 3 years, 1981 to 1983. And so they're pretty hard to get in the United States. This one was imported from Japan back in April of 2024, so hasn't been over here very long at all. And I was super stoked to get my hands on it. These things fold up into like a little box. They almost look like a briefcase when you fold them up. And they've got 4 carrying points on the side. You can see the handle right there as well as a strap hook. And you can just pick this thing up and throw it in the back of your car. And I've been wanting one for many years, and I kept saying if I could find one for a decent price, I would jump on it. So I finally did just that and took about an 8-hour round trip and pick it up a few days ago, and I couldn't be happier to get this thing. But, unfortunately the thing was, neglected a little bit. It's got some cosmetic flaws to it that I hope to address soon. There's a couple of cracks in the plastic where somebody just put some like crude tape over the top of it. So hopefully I can repair that or buy a new upper cowling if I'm not satisfied with what I do to fix it. And the speedometer cable broke on it, so I'm gonna order a new one of those. But the tank's got a little bit of rust in it, so I'm gonna start off by pulling the bodywork off of this thing and check the air filter and put a battery in it and work on getting the tank out of there and flush the rust out of it so it won't clog up the petcock and all that good stuff. And I'll go ahead and take the carb off and everything and just clean it thoroughly as well. It does run, and it runs pretty well. But I want to fix all of the functional aspects of it before I worry too much about the looks of it and everything, and get everything tidied up. We'll get started on it now. So as I expected, the air filter's kind of just falling apart in there, but that's all right. I planned on ordering one anyways. I just wanted to make sure that something was there. So we'll keep kind of tearing into this thing, but I'll get a new air filter on order before I go too far. So I've taken the air box off to get to the carburetor, and this probably isn't the original fuel line because it's not hard as could possibly be. It was probably more of like a gray black color originally. It looks like somebody's redone some lines here. There's also no battery in there, which could explain why the lights aren't working as well as they should. It's got a 6-volt system on this thing, and the guy was under the impression that this thing had an aftermarket CDI, but this is actually a voltage regulator. And something interesting is that they've got this plug-in backwards, and I don't really know why. They've got some writing on here, and it could be that their leads are opposite of what they thought, so they slid it in there backwards. I'm gonna have to hook up a battery to this and check the charging system and just kind of see what's going on here. Since there's a lot of plugs disconnected, you know, there's a male prong still stuck in this plug, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but I'll get it all sorted out. I just kind of wanted to take this thing apart and see what's all wrong in here, so hopefully I can fix it to the best of my ability. But I'm gonna work on pulling out the gas tank now. You can see it's got a heck of a lot of lines here for how small this motorcycle is. Some of them are going to the oil injection system. Some of them are going to the carburetor. There's all kinds of crap going on here. So I'm gonna have to figure out where all of these hoses belong, you know, and where they go to, and take some pictures and stuff so I put them back on the right way. So after a little bit of a fight, I was able to get the tank off of this thing. As you can see, I got it torn into quite a few pieces. Now what I'm gonna do is use some white distilled vinegar and baking soda and soak this tank. You can see just how much rust is in there. It's pretty nasty. So I'm gonna let this soak for a couple of days. I made myself just like a mock petcock so I didn't ruin mine, and I've got a little round boss in there lined up with the hole for the filter that goes up inside of the tank, and there's an O-ring on there to keep it from leaking while I let this soak. So I'll just prop it up and let it soak, and we'll see how it turns out. Here is the tank after stripping it on the inside with some vinegar and some baking soda to neutralize the vinegar after I was done letting it soak for about 48 hours or so. I did this twice. I dried it a little too quickly the first time around after not letting the baking soda sit long enough, and it rusted up again. So I did it again and then soaked it for a couple hours with baking soda and water in there, and then sloshed it around like a billion times and dumped it out. And then I put a heat gun on it on medium heat and dried the remainder of the water out that I couldn't get out with compressed air. And then I just put some WD-40 down in there and sloshed it around, and then soaked up the excess with some paper towels. And I've got all the threaded holes blocked off because I'm gonna drop it off at a powder coater and get it powder coated and get it looking brand new again. I've ordered new seals for the fuel gauge, and I've got to replace the O-ring on the petcock, and I've already taken apart and restored the gas cap, and then I'll be ready to start putting this thing back together. If you're messing with a Motocompo at home and you're having problems with the gas tank, you can take it out without pulling the engine and lifting the frame up off of the engine. What I did was I removed this spout off of the back of the oil tank there, and then I removed this cable that actuates the oil pump right there, and then I was able to pull the oil tank out from underneath the gas tank and then lift the gas tank out from there. So it can be done. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but that was how I did it. I also removed the exhaust, and I dropped it off with somebody that I know to get Cerakoted. So it was in pretty rough shape. It had a lot of rust on it and everything. Being hidden up underneath the plastics, I would think it's pretty easy to neglect that. Basically all of the OEM paint was gone except for on the mounting bracket. So it's got a lot of pitting and stuff on there. I might build an exhaust system for this thing down the road anyways. As you guys probably know, I like to do that. So I'll just kind of see how it turns out. Right now I'm just trying to get this thing functional, get everything that's kind of in disarray back in working condition again, and then I might do a full tear down the road. While I had the tank out and replacing the air filter and everything, I completely disassembled the carburetor and vapor blasted it. It really wasn't as corroded as I thought it would be. On the inside there was a lot of trash in there and it was really nasty, but so far it looks pretty good. This vapor blaster that I have from Vapor Honing Technologies does a really good job. It's pretty small, but it's good for carburetors and small gas tanks and stuff like that. You know, it works really well on cast aluminum parts. As you can see, it makes it look brand new again. So we'll put this back together with all new seals and everything and put it back on the bike. One of the last things that I'm going to do for this video, I have these springs for the seat carriage or mount or whatever you'd like to call it that snaps down into the body. I've disassembled the entire thing, and I've got these two springs that are both pretty rusty, and I don't think it's possible to get replacements as with a lot of the parts on this bike. So what I'm going to do is make some fixtures to kind of stretch these springs out, so that way when I drop them off to powder coating, they can actually get in between the coils of it. So I'm going to take some stainless steel tubing and chop it up and make some little powder coating fixtures for it. And there we go. Let's weld it all together. There is the second spring powder coating fixture. Just made a real simple one. Just put some tacks on this tubing. It doesn't have to hold a whole lot of load, just needs to hold these coils apart. So since one hook of the spring is kicked 90 degrees from the other one, I kind of had to do this zigzag triangle shape. But now that they're both done, we can get this stuff sent off to powder coating. Well, that's going to about do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the introduction to my little Motocompo project. I'm really excited to do some cool stuff with this bike in the future and get it fixed up the way that I think it should be. And right now it's in complete disarray and disassembled, but we're going to send some stuff off and have it powder coated and put it back together and get it functional again, and then we can start tinkering with the fun stuff. As you can see, it's kind of a mess right now. So I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure you drop a like, subscribe, comment, all that nonsense. I'll catch you guys later.